Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to take a look at the CZ Scorpion trigger, and we're also going to be replacing it with a reduced weight trigger kit from HB Industries. First up, we're going to take a look at the current trigger, and due to YouTube's firearm policy, we won't be showing you how to switch out the spring kit, but if you want to see that, you can go over to HB Industries website and see them do it. First up, make sure the firearm is clear. So the factory's trigger on the CZ Scorpion, it's quite heavy, especially for a duty trigger. Comes in a little over 9 pounds. We got a trigger gauge here, we'll actually measure that. Let's try that again. A little bit of travel, you hit the wall, push through the wall and break. And as far as the reset goes, the reset, it does have pretty positive reset. The trigger itself likes to push the trigger out onto reset, so it is fairly quick to get back to reset, which does help with follow-up shots. If we actually take a trigger gauge though, if we place it in the middle of the trigger, so that broke, so it's hard to see it there, but it did break over 8 pounds, so right there it's about 8.5 pounds. Either way, it's a heavy trigger. So that is why today we'll be switching it out with this trigger kit from HB Industries. It's pretty simple. It's just 2 springs and then it has a shim. So we'll switch those out, tell you what we thought about the installation process, if it's difficult or not, and then we'll take a look at this trigger again once we're done with that. Right, guys, we finished up the installation of the HB Industries spring kit for the Scorpion Evo. Right off the bat, a few things I noticed. It wasn't too difficult. If you're watching the HB Industries video on how to install it, you can just watch it and do it at the same time and pause it when you need to. It only takes you about 20 minutes if you're watching the video. Now, after we installed the trigger, a few things I noticed right off the bat was the trigger was lighter. And the wall is not as distinct as it used to be. So now, when you are pulling the trigger, you have about the same amount of movement, but here where you would feel the wall, now there's not a clear wall on the Scorpion. You're more pressing all the way through, and right at the end, you can feel a little bit more resistance. It's not a clear wall though, like some of your other firearms. Like a factory Glock, you have a clear wall of where the trigger is going to break. While it's still about the same amount of travel, it is a lot smoother. It's a lot lighter too. So if we pull out the trigger gauge, comparing before and after, we can see that the trigger is quite a bit lighter. So if you're pulling on the very center, it's about 6 pounds from the over 9 pounds earlier. If you're actually getting pretty low on that trigger, it's coming in right about 5 pounds. It really does reduce it to about 5 to 5.5 pounds, like HB Industries said. And this kit works for the pistols, the carbines, the rifles. So you can use it in any of those. One thing they do note before you put the kit in, if you have an older Scorpion where there's a screw here and CZ welded that, you just have to buy a kit that lets you take out the weld. If you have a newer Scorpion, one that's made after about 2017, 2018, you shouldn't have an issue. You should just be able to unscrew that versus having to break a weld on the inside. But my thought of that trigger kit, for about $10, that's one of the cheapest upgrades you can do for the Scorpion. That's going to give you a lot of benefits out of the Scorpion. For $10, it gives you a lot more usability out of the Scorpion. Theoretically, you should be able to get a little quicker follow-up shots. It may help you be more accurate, not making the gun more accurate, but having a lighter trigger pull is going to help you from jerking the trigger as much. So for $10, it's a pretty easy to install kit. Doesn't take a whole lot of time, it's cheap, and it's effective. With that in mind, we'd like to thank you for watching our video. Please like, subscribe, and leave your comments below.